From Neural Newscast, this is Deep Dive, exploring the moments that shape today.
Today is April 4th, 2026. On this day, we look at the echoes of history that resonate through the decades, from the somber silence of a Memphis balcony to the record-breaking sounds of the British invasion.
It is a date that carries an immense weight in the American story. April 4th reminds us how a single moment can alter the trajectory of a movement, and how art can provide a mirror to our collective soul.
It is hard to talk about this date without starting in 1968. Thomas, you've spent a lot of time looking at how our urban spaces are often the backdrop for these massive historical shifts, and the Lorraine Motel in Memphis is perhaps one of the most significant.
Exactly. At 6:01 p.m. on April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was standing on the second-floor balcony of that motel. He was only 39 years old, and he was in Memphis for a very specific reason: to support a strike by the city's sanitation workers.
Right. Those workers were fighting for basic dignity and fair wages, a struggle that King saw as central to the next phase of the civil rights movement. He was connecting the dots between racial justice and economic rights in a way that felt very dangerous to the status quo.
While he was on that balcony, a sniper opened fire. Dr. King was rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital, but he was pronounced dead about an hour later. The news hit the country like a shockwave, sparking riots in dozens of cities and a period of profound national mourning.
The investigation eventually led to the arrest of James Earl Ray, an escaped convict at London's Heathrow Airport months later. He pleaded guilty to avoid the death penalty and was sentenced to 99 years, though the case remains surrounded by questions for decades.
The King family even supported a wrongful death lawsuit in the 90s that suggested a broader conspiracy. While the legal systems had their say, the cultural reality is that his death left a void that the movement had to find new ways to fill.
That legacy of activism actually leads us naturally to one of our birthdays today. Maya Angelou, born in 1928, was a contemporary and friend of Dr. King. In fact, his death affected her so deeply that she stopped celebrating her own birthday for years.
That is a powerful connection, Hannah. Angelou is, of course, a giant of literature. Most people know her memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, which broke so many barriers in how Black women's lives were portrayed in print.
She was also a pioneer in the public sphere, reciting her poem On the Pulse of Morning at President Bill Clinton's inauguration in 1993. Her life was a masterclass in using words as both a shield and a sword for justice.
While Angelou was using her voice for poetry, another April 4th birthday was finding his voice in a very different way on the silver screen. Anthony Perkins was born in 1932.
Thomas, when I think of Perkins, I think of the Bates Motel. It is interesting how motifs of motels and travel keep appearing today.
Absolutely. His portrayal of Norman Bates in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho became the archetype for the cinematic villain. It was a performance of such analytical restraint and chilling vulnerability that it defined his entire career.
Yeah, it really changed the landscape of the horror genre. And speaking of changing landscapes, our third birthday today is someone who has navigated the peaks and valleys of Hollywood better than almost anyone. Robert Downey Jr., born in 1965.
Downey's story is incredible. He was part of the Brat Pack in the 80s, starring in films like Weird Science and Lesson Zero. He even earned an Oscar nomination for playing Charlie Chaplin in the early 90s.
No way. But it was his resilience after personal struggles that led to his role as Tony Stark in Iron Man. He didn't just play a character. He anchored the most successful film franchise in history. His films have grossed over $14 billion worldwide.
It is a testament to his versatility, from a Daytime Emmy for Ally McBeal to an Academy Award. He has covered the entire spectrum of performance with a lot of grace.
While we are talking about massive global success, we have to look at our fact of the day. Because on April 4th, 1964, a group of 4 young men from Liverpool did something that had never been done before and hasn't been done since.
The Beatles. This was the week they owned the Billboard Hot 100. They occupied the top 5 positions simultaneously. Can't Buy Me Love was at number 1, followed by Twist and Shout, She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand, and Please Please Me.
That's remarkable. They actually had 12 songs on the chart that same week. In terms of cultural infrastructure, that is a total monopoly of the airwaves.
It really marks the definitive peak of Beatlemania in America. It was a shift in how music was consumed and how global pop stars were made. You can draw a direct line from that week in 1964 to the way the industry functions today.
From the profound social weight of Dr. King's mission to the poetic resilience of Maya Angelou and the chart-topping energy of the Beatles, April 4th is a day where we see the best of our creative potential alongside our deepest challenges.
It is a reminder that history isn't just a list of dates, but a collection of interconnected lives. Thank you for listening.
For more history, visit deepdive.neuralnewscast.com. Deep Dive is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. Explore history every day on Neural Newscast.
This has been Deep Dive on Neural Newscast, exploring the moments that shape today.